the identity of the I is questioned, and you have also started already, Professor Wanma, to question what is being Thai or what is being Lao or Korean or Swiss. So I think the identity question is central, and Professor Wapradit is going to try to unpack that notion with the philosopher Emmanuel Levinas and present what it means to utter I according to Emmanuel Levinas. Over to you.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask forgiveness beforehand because I will be reading from the script that I prepared. I would say that my English is not very good, but to be more honest, I am very nervous. So, sorry. I am very honored to be given this opportunity to speak on the occasion of World Philosophy Day. I thank our hosts and all those involved in making this event possible. That's of course including all participants. I think the question of personal development is a concern of human beings in general, because I believe almost every activity, be it concrete or abstract, that emerge from this human life always already has a play in the development of a personhood, more or less, one way or another. In particular, I believe philosophy, by its very etymology, speaks of this development as an opening wound of wonder, which can wonder about everything, including oneself. But how could or how should philosophy partake in such endeavor? Different strains of philosophy offer different answers. I will try to present to you one of the answers, not even entirely my own, but one that I am being given from trying to read and to continue the line of thought of another. This line of thought that I am speaking of belongs to a Jewish, Lithuanian-born French philosopher, Emmanuel Levinas. I will try my best to present this thought as I understand it, and to make it as relevant and accessible as I can to the current situation of our society. The latter may not be an easy task, I admit, because philosophy, like all disciplines, come with its own languages. And so being at home in these languages, to the point that oftentimes it can appear to be both purposefully and unwittingly keeping itself distant from what is in front of it. Personal development means, from my point of view, becoming a person and understanding what it means to be a person. A strange take, I know. Aren't we all already a person? Aren't we all already understood what it means to be a person? Perhaps. But then again, maybe we have taken this matter for granted. A kind of natural attitude, to put in the terms of phenomenology. What if the I that I am, one of the most self-evident things, not just simply there to begin with, but come to itself through the way we think about it? Then the meaning of the person that I am can be varied, can change, and so intertwine it with the way we comport ourselves. Then it is a matter of understanding what constitutes my very person, my I. When I think of how we nowadays, not just the youth, becoming a person, it seems as if most of our efforts are directed toward making our own person stronger, more solid, more steadfast. All this speak of a desire for security. So what is wrong with these? Why shouldn't one want to make oneself become more and more secure in ourselves, in our positions, whether it be in the mind or in the society? True, many troubles beset us from all sides in our existence, from personal relationship to political, economical aspect of it. Threatening our very person, these troubles are real and legitimate and too numerous to name, to the point that it seems the only way to cope with all this ongoing threat is to successfully establish oneself as something unassailable, as something that can weather these troubles and with certainty and confidence. It is this success that captured our imagination so truly, I think. And we seek all kind of means to accomplish this, seek knowledge of all sorts, whether it be scientific or perhaps witchery. And lucky for us, in the day and age of information, it seems that the whole world is ready to supply us with a plethora of all these life coaching and feel-good advices. From influencer on social media to academic soundbite podcasts and self-help books. Then again, what is wrong with all these? I am not questioning their ability to make us feel secure in ourselves, one way or another. I am questioning how all these activities can show us about the way we understand the meaning of this I and the way this I act. It is as if the way to be begins from making ourselves stable before we can confidently move toward dealing with anything that comes into our lives. Only when this I feels secure in its person, then afterward it can begin to branch out. Whatever relationship that can follow seem to be follow only from the epicenter of the certain and more often time comfortable I. All these activities as a part of personal development may differ, but what meaning of the I they all imply? All of them have the same direction. That direction is aiming first toward constitute oneself before open up a way of dealing with everything else. There is a person emerging from this constitution, and along with it, an intellectual power with a well-worn but handsome name, reason. A reasoning not necessarily good or fallacy-proof, but a reasoning nonetheless. It comes down to the difference, as Levinas wrote, quote, the difference between the two theses. First, reason creates the relation between me and the other. And second, the others teaching me create reason. A difference which is not purely theoretical, end quote. My very intellectual power can deal with everything and everyone according to the dictate of itself. First, by comprehending them, and later by comporting itself toward them in a way it sees proper. But as Levinas has warned us, it's all amounted to bring them into the gravitation of the I, into an egoism, not in the sense of malevolence or selfishness, but in the sense of under the totality of the economy of the I, into my household management. In this sense, even the most benevolent or altruistic reasoning can be egoistic when it seeks to create a relation with others by first establishing its own firm bearing. Let me give you an example, an anecdote, if you will, indulge me. One day, many years ago, after I came back from school on my usual route home, I was waiting for a truck taxi or รถสองแถว At the bus stop, an old woman walked up to me. As she approaches, I read it myself. My thought engaged in its calculative reasoning. In a blink of an eye, I determined from the way she looked, a little shabby, from her reluctant gesture and from her helpless expression, that she was probably lost and was in need of directions. And more importantly, I determined that I can help giving her a direction or two. Why not? I am a local. I know this part of the town like the back of my hand. Then she came before me and she began her speech. It was a kind of speech that I believe anyone who spent enough time at the bus terminal or station would be familiar with. I came from a faraway province on an urgent business or errand. I have spent all my prepared money and now I can't reach my destination. I can't return home. I have no relative or contact to turn to. It was a kind of speech, a scripted speech that we often find in a scam. One that is meant to scam a passerby of their pocket money. When I reasoned that her speech was a scam, I choked. I recoiled from her so fast, like an animal retreating from danger. My financial standing was flimsy enough. I don't have any money to spare, not even on a charity, let alone a scam. Instantly, that old lady turned from a person in need of direction that I should help into a dangerous scammer threatening me, whom I should get away from. This determination stemmed from nowhere else but me. I determined myself along with everything I encountered. Levinas' thought is famous for giving priority to the others. But in it, the I still play an important role, not as a lead protagonist in the way it is accustomed to, but a lead protagonist still. The privilege of the I, as being the I, does not just lie in its power to be a beginning of comprehensions that whenever it reasons that it is secure enough, can go on engaging with the other this way or that. But also, first and foremost, it is the privilege of the one who being gifted with the power to respond to the other and do it so in a way that the singularity of the I shine forth as the elected, as irreplaceable. Quote, to utter the I is therefore, To utter the I is therefore not necessarily means to affirm the I at home with oneself, where it can do something only whenever it thinks it is ready to. But it can also, quote, means to possess a privileged place with regard to responsibilities for which no one can replace me and from which no one can release me. To be unable to shirk, this is the I. End quote. This is an ethical experience of encountering with the other that came before any moral determination. It came not as a hindrance to the determination of the I, but arousing me to determine myself, calling me to responsibility, to ability to respond, no matter I am ready or not. More and more nowadays, I see people talking of staying with oneself or being with oneself, like it's a mantra. To take refuge with oneself from whatever threaten and worn them down, until they are ready or stable enough to go back to engage with the world and other people again. But who determines when will I be stable enough? What if I will never be stable enough? And what if I think they are not worth engaging with? Can we try to become a person who fear for myself and what others will do to me less than fear for others and what I always already did to them? I hope that I have shown you how philosophy is still relevant to our personal development by making us wonder at the possibilities of the meaning of the I. Exteriority is not negation, but a marvel, one that we can be wondered about. And I think philosophy not just try to answer the difficult question, but it can show us that the most simplest thing can be difficult as well, even just being I. Thank you.